Have you ever stopped and wondered about the secret life of the things you own? You know, the car in your driveway, the watch on your wrist, even the refrigerator in your kitchen. They're not just simple objects anymore. They're watching, they're learning, and they are definitely communicating. So let's dive into this hidden world, shall we?
Yeah, it's happening so quietly, you probably haven't even noticed. The everyday products that surround us are getting smarter. Tucked away inside them, right? They're being packed with these complex electronics and some seriously sophisticated software.
This keeps them constantly connected to a network that literally never sleeps.
What are they doing? They're constantly monitoring, constantly sending data back and forth. It's like this secret conversation that's happening just under the surface of our world.
Look, this might sound like science fiction, but it's not. It has a name, the Internet of Things, or IoT for short. And that's exactly what it is. It's the tech that transforms a simple product into a smart device. The result? This massive, invisible web where everything's connected and everything is churning out data.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting because all of this, well, it creates a huge problem. Think about it. All those signals, all that information, it has to go somewhere, right? And the source material we're looking at today puts it really bluntly. Data management is now the single biggest challenge for manufacturers, period.
The best way to picture it is like a data storm. You've got this relentless, non-stop flood of information coming from every single product out there. And this data isn't static. It's changing every single second. It's got everything, super specific customer requests, how people are actually using the products. And if you don't have a way to handle all that, you have zero visibility. It's like these companies are flying blind, right into a hurricane they created themselves. The risk? Absolute chaos.
So that just begs the question, right? With all this data gushing from millions and millions of devices, who's actually in control here?
Well, the answer, the solution to all this, is a strategy called product lifecycle management. You'll hear it called PLM. And it's important to know this isn't just some piece of software. It's a whole business strategy, a way to take all those scattered pieces of a product's life and finally bring them all together.
So here's the bottom line. If the Internet of Things is what creates that data storm we talked about, then PLM, well, PLM is the system that brings order to all that chaos. Think of it as the control center.
So you're probably wondering, how does it actually do that? How does it get control? Well, PLM works methodically to create what's called a single source of truth. First, it grabs all that product data and gets it into one place. Then, it lines up all the business processes around that data. Next, it connects the right people to that system. And finally, it pulls together all the different business systems into one single smart system. What you end up with is a total control system. And I want to be really clear here, we're not just talking about the manufacturing or the design phase. No, this covers a product's entire life. I mean, from the absolute beginning, the first little spark of an idea, all the way through development and manufacturing. But here's the real game changer. It doesn't stop when the product leaves the factory. PLM uses that live data from the IoT to keep an eye on the product while it's in service, out there in the real world being used by you and me. And it follows it all the way to the very end, to its disposal. It's a complete end-to-end view of everything. And just so you know, this isn't just some theory. The actual study we're basing this on points to real-world examples. It mentions how specialized software, something like Aras Innovator, is actually used to put these PLM systems into practice, to grab all that IoT data and manage it.
Okay, so you go through all this trouble, you build this entire system to wrangle that storm of data coming from all these smart devices. So what happens? What's the payoff?
Well, the conclusion from our source material is incredibly clear, and it's powerful. It says that putting a PLM system in place for these IoT products led directly to improved control. It's that simple. It works. It's what tames the chaos and puts the company back in the driver's seat.
And all of this really just leaves us with one last thought to chew on. In this new world where pretty much every device has a voice, the question isn't if your products are talking anymore. The real question is, are you listening?